The Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission Gramin Bill 2025, how it is trying to bring in change with the current mandate of MG Narega 2005, a guaranteed employment to the rural people plus a livelihood security for 125 days, which this bill is guaranteeing. We are going to reduce corruption, the delays in payment and leakages, of course. What is the demand driven scheme? So people can go and ask for employment, right? For centrally sponsored scheme, the funding mechanism changes. Durable quality of assets. It is going to reduce any regional disparities with respect to implementation of the scheme. Hello everyone, welcome to yet another current affairs session. In today's session, we are going to cover the recently passed bill, that is the Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission Gramin Bill 2025. So the bill has been passed by both the houses of parliament. The bill was initiated by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, and the intention is, of course, to replace the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act of 2005 with some changes with respect to the kind of reforms in the rural development area. So that is why let's discuss what are the salient features of this particular bill, how it is trying to bring in change with the current mandate of MG Narega 2005. So a very important topic for your examination, and the short form, of course, here is GRAM G bill, that is stands for Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission 2025 bill. So why is it news? Because government is trying to make a new rural employment law for the country. What are the changes we are trying to bring in with respect to the particular bill is we are trying to ensure that again we have more employment days, we have better asset creation. Of course, the employment guarantee is given and the employment is going to be used for generating or for creating a durable assets in the rural development. So that is something which is a change. And then we are going to have a very strong planning and monitoring of the entire program. We are going to have a greater use of technology, and this is an entire news, or the bill is important for you for the examination perspective. You can use them in paper number 2 in the ideas of governance, and in paper number 3 in an areas of agriculture and rural development. We are going to see how you're going to use them in your answers. So let's discuss what is the mandate and what this bill has changed with respect to the existing MG Narega Act of 2005. So the core objective here is we are going to give a guaranteed employment to the rural people plus a livelihood security for 125 days, which this bill is guaranteeing. It is going to create and improve the quality of assets which is going to be created by using the employment under the particular scheme. It is going to align with the national infrastructure plan of the government. We are going to see how the bill is trying to integrate with the whole government mission of PM Gati Shakti scheme. We are going to reduce corruption, the delays in payment and leakages, of course. So this is the core objective of the bill. And again, it is going to balance the agricultural needs plus the ideas of creation of rural employment. So these are the core objectives of the bill. We are going to discuss each one of them one by one. So first is, earlier under MG Narega Act of 2005, 100 days of rural household employment was guaranteed. Under the new bill, we are guaranteeing 125 days of rural household employment every year. So again, any person in a rural area, if they can go for and they can ask for 125 days of employment, and the nature of work is still unskilled manual work, and it is of course going to be a demand driven scheme. What is a demand driven scheme? So people can go and ask for employment, right? So that is where we're talking about not supply driven scheme, it is a demand driven scheme. As in when people will demand work, the law tells that it is a statutory right to get a 125 days of employment in the rural area, and the nature of course job will be unskilled manual work. Then is we are retaining this idea of protection of workers. So again, let's say it is a statutory right. If the employment is not being given by the government, then what kind of security the workers have if employment is not provided within 15 days of asking? Let's say a rural house people or a rural person is asking for employment under the Viksit Bharat Ji Ram Ji bill. If he is not getting employment for a period of 15 days after asking for it, then he is supposed to get an unemployment bonus, which is going to be provided by the, or allowance, which is going to be given by the respective state government. It was earlier also there under MG Narega, so that has been retained. This is going to ensure that again the worker is safeguarded under this guaranteed statutory right, and it is going to strengthen rights based nature of work of the scheme. So that is something which has been retained. Then next is the funding mechanism. Very interesting and very important. Earlier, majority of the funding under this MG Narega Act was given by the central government. So under the MG Narega Act, the entire cost of wages was borne by the central government. The material cost for infrastructure development, which was used by the employment which was being given under MG Narega, the infrastructure cost, the material cost, 3/4 of the cost was borne by the central government, and a share of administrative cost was also borne by the respective central government. So here, majority of the funding under MG Narega was done by the central government, and under MG Narega, states were supposed to give the unemployment allowance. What is unemployment allowance? It is something which is provided to a person in a rural area if he is asking for employment and employment is not given to him for the period which has been guaranteed under the act. Then what is compensation? Let's say there is a delay in payment of wages. Let's say after a certain period of time, employment wages are supposed to be given. If wages are delayed, then compensation was given by the respective state government under the MG Narega Act. So this was an earlier version of finances under the MG Narega Act. Now the scheme has been made a centrally sponsored scheme. Again, generally, whenever you read schemes, you need to understand a major factor is you need to remember which ministry has released that particular scheme. And number two is what is the funding mechanism. There are two types of schemes broadly: central sector schemes and centrally sponsored schemes. Central sector schemes, the funding is entirely given by the central government. For centrally sponsored scheme, the funding mechanism changes. In case of generally for states, 60:40 is the ratio. 60% of the funds will be borne by the central government and 40% of the funds will be borne by the respective state government. For certain special states, for example, northeastern states, Himalayan states, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, and Union Territories of Jammu and Kashmir, the funding mechanism will be 90:10 because of the geographical locations under which these states are located. And for union territories without legislature, 100% of the fund will be given by the central government. So this is the funding mechanism for all centrally sponsored scheme. So under the new bill, the funding mechanism will be entirely a centrally sponsored scheme. This is a funding mechanism, and the state governments are still, let's say, regulated them to pay for unemployment compensation and allowance, right? So that is something that with respect to the funding mechanism of the particular scheme. Then with respect to normative allocation and fiscal discipline, it is very important that again, as it is going to be a centrally sponsored scheme, so to ensure fiscal discipline and in order to ensure that the funds are effectively utilized, we have a clear vision with respect to the program implementation. So there is something called as normative allocation. So again, a fixed amount will be decided every year by the central government, and that is going to be fixed with respect to implementation of this particular bill, right? Then if any extra amount is being spent after this normative allocation, then that extra amount will be borne by the respective state government. assume that, again, let's say if you're getting a let's say pocket money from your parents, and that is something, let's say, let's assume it is 5,000 rupees. So under the particular scheme, the normative, let's say, allocation of fund is 5,000 rupees. If any extra amount is being spent by the respective state government, then again they are supposed to get that fund themselves. There will be no compensation given by the central government as per the new idea, right? So center will fix state-wise normative allocation, and that will be based on different criteria depending upon the population of state and various other factors. The rules are not out. We are going to come up with the rule that how exactly this normative allocation will be done. And the change is, if a state is spending beyond this limit, extra cost will be borne by the respective state. It is going to ensure better planning and financial accountability by the respective state governments. Then very important parameter, let's say rural areas, there is a requirement of rural workforce in agriculture. Agriculture is, of course, a backbone of Indian economy. So let's say assume if people are employed under this particular scheme for 125 days, and let's say that is a peak period of agriculture harvesting, then what would happen? So for that, state's government has been given a provision that, again, that during the time and during the sowing season and harvesting season, the scheme implementation is going to be paused for 60 days per year, and that is being done in order to ensure there is no challenge with respect to availability of rural workforce for agricultural requirement, that is for sowing season and harvesting season. And the purpose, of course, here is to ensure availability of farm labor and any avoidance of conflict with the farm work and public work under the new bill. So a very important parameter which has been considered. Then we have planning framework, a very important, because under the MG Narega Act, the developmental plan under the and how effectively we were supposed to create, let's say, how the employment was going to be used was decided by the Gram Panchayat. So Gram Panchayat now also are going to identify the work, and they're going to prepare the village level plans, but the planning remains bottom up, just like MG Narega, but now with a clear national integration. This was something which is being added. And what is national integration? It is something that, again, any amount of labor for which is going to be used under this particular scheme or bill, that is going to create durable assets. And what kind of durable assets? Just like for water security, for rural infrastructure, for livelihood related infrastructure, for extreme weather mitigation. So this is the area which this new bill is focusing with respect to usage of employment under this 125 days of guaranteed employment, right? So now, the earlier we have been shifting from a temporary work to a creation durable asset. This is a major change which this bill has brought about with respect to rural infrastructure development. And one more thing is, we are going to integrate it with the national let's say developmental program. We have PM Gati Shakti scheme, which is talking about infrastructure development and economic growth, right? So this plan is going to be integrated with this PM Gati Shakti scheme. So every village plan is going to be linked to this PM Gati Shakti scheme. That is how it is going to happen. So every plan will be segregated, they will be consolidated, and again that aggregated plan will be of state and national levels, and that will be linked to PM Gati Shakti master plan. So this is where the village development is going to be coming under or integrated with this national infrastructure vision. So again, we are going to reduce duplication of work with respect to the integration and better coordination between the center and the state and the local government with respect to rural infrastructure development and integrating it with the national plan of infrastructure development under the PM Gati Shakti scheme. The next is, this is something with respect to the institutional framework, that how we are going to oversee the program. So here again the same mechanism has been maintained, but again more powers and more, let's say, autonomy has been given to the bodies. So then the bodies are retained, but again they have been strengthened. There are center and state councils for better monitoring and implementation of the program. So at national level, we have National Level Steering Committee. So that is a high level committee which is going to oversee the entire program at a central level, and they are going to recommend the normative allocations, that again how much funds are going to be allocated to the respective state government. The rules we are going to come up with, it is not yet out. And then we have at state level, we are going to have state steering committees. So they are going to aggregate the district plans. They're going to ensure convergence with other schemes of the government, and they're going to coordinate with the central government. Then one more thing which has been there for better implementation of schemes, there has been a lot of development in technology. So we are integrating technology in this particular scheme of the government. So again, biometric authentication with respect to the let's say the employment which is going to be given. Geospatial technology will be used, mobile app based dashboards will be there, and weekly public disclosure is going to happen. So all of these has an aim of creating transparency, real-time monitoring, and reduced corruption in the application of scheme. This is a governance application with respect to how better we can implement schemes in order to ensure that schemes are effectively utilized by the people for which the schemes are being made by the government. So very important area. Then this is all about the key features of the bill, what kind of changes it is bringing in with respect to the earlier Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005. Let's have a quick comparison that under the MG Narega, the days of work was 100, but under this G-Ram G bill, we are having 125 days of guaranteed employment. Funding was mostly done by the central government. Here, funding is under the as a centrally sponsored scheme. We have discussed the funding mechanism. The seasonal pause was not there under MG Narega. Again, here for agricultural need is being considered, and that is where 60 days pause can be given by the respective state government in order to ensure availability of work in the harvesting and sowing season. Then the planning level was, of course, local bottom-up approach. But again, now this planning is going to create durable assets, and it is linked with the national infrastructure plan, a plan that is a PM Gati Shakti program of the government. And here, the technology use was limited. Here, we are using advanced and real-time let's say monitoring technologies, which is going to ensure better implementation of the scheme. So very important development. So that's how, let's see how it is going to create a change in the infrastructure development in the rural areas. So this significance is it is going to have a stronger rural employment security with the kind of provisions what we have seen. It is going to create a durable quality of assets. It is going to reduce any regional disparities with respect to implementation of the scheme. It is going to align with the Viksit Bharat mission of the government, and it is going to balance the farmers' need, where again 60-day pause period has been given, plus in order to ensure labor welfare. So a very important development, a very important reform which this government has brought about with the implementation of this, or with the passing of the bill by the parliament under the G-Ram G bill, right? So let's see how it is going to change the whole idea of rural infrastructure development, linking it with the national infrastructure developmental plan of the government. So until next time, we are going to come up with more such videos. Keep watching. All the very best.